We've looked at Wife Swap. We've looked at Wife Swap UK, Wife Swap, and Wife Swap another time. Also, that other guy did too. But today I thought we'd shake it up a bit with an episode I've had my eye on for some time now. Wife Swap, Husband Edition. Could have also just been called Husband Swap. I don't know why we couldn't have just taken the names off the rails for one episode, but going all the way back to season 1 for this episode, so we know it's gonna be raw.
Aw, gross!
I'd watched like 10 minutes of this episode 8 months ago, thought, hey, this would be good for a video, and then just went about my life for about 8 months, probably just staring at the wall as I do. Of course, Wife Swap, the incredibly popular 2000s reality show where two wives swap lives for 2 weeks, the first week playing by the rules set by the wife that they're replacing, and the second week implementing their own rules for the family to follow. Always fun, lots of tension, no lessons ever learned it seems, just ABC pinning two families that couldn't be further apart in their views and ideals against each other for our entertainment. Now, 20 years later. I'd made a joke last time we watched the show when we saw Ultra Strict Brian from the US on Wife Swap UK, so it was technically Wife Swap 3/4 UK. I'd wish that he would have swapped instead of his wife because the kids at the other household were just disobedient little shits that didn't listen to anything anyone said, so I really wish we could have seen that pot stirred a little bit more. But now we're finally going to see what happens when the husbands are put in this situation. We can only hope and pray it'll be easier than watching that Wife Swap UK episode. God.
Wrong child. I was about to send my son to school looking like a f***ing idiot. Look. No.
So now, without further ado, Wife Swap Husband Edition, or as we're going to call it from here on out, Husband Swap. I'm going to go ahead and get out in front of this right now. Worst quality on a Wife Swap episode yet. This is the best recording Hulu has to offer, and it was also season 1, so let's just be grateful we have anything at all.
The Davises are from Colorado. Born to be wild biker dad Kenny owns 17 motorbikes and 6 gas-guzzling cars.
Always a treat to see them stare into the camera for this introduction that feels like 45 minutes, but especially funny this episode because the sun is so obviously cooking their corneas right now, they couldn't have done this under a tree. Now, the extremes each family is going to lean into this episode is one side being the hippie environmentalist family that lives in a commune, and the other side being a biker dad in a family that doesn't recycle. That's it.
In Colorado, fast-living, hard-riding biker Kenny Davis is king of the road. He runs his own bike shop and really loves his hog.
She never talks back to you. She's always there for you. A little bit of TLC. She can do so much for you. You know, she doesn't do everything a woman can do for you, but you know what? Sometimes it comes close.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try and wipe that clean out of my mind as fast as I can.
The other love of Kenny's life is Sandy, who he hooked up with just a year ago.
Alright, I let it slide on Wife Swap UK, but this is now the second time we've seen a couple on this show that is not married. So not only is this not Wife Swap, it is not even completely Husband Swap. Especially when they introduced this couple as they hooked up a year ago, which I think meant a very different thing in 2004 than it does today, so yeah.
They share a home with Kenny's kids, Caitlin and Samantha, and Sandy's daughter, Kara. But this new family is a divided household.
So far, a lovely dynamic in this family. You know what they say, a house divided against itself cannot stand. I think it then goes on to say that, so just swap the spouse in said house and go on TV and things should smooth over. Something like that. I don't read much. Also, with Wife Swap, it's a pretty safe bet that a lot of their values that end up clashing just come down to TV bad or TV good. I'd say half the show's catalog end up being that.
Kara and I have had some conflict over the issue of Sandy and I coming together.
So far, I'm loving that every one of Kenny's confessionals are him just speaking softly out in the garage. He is not standing tall and proud next to Sandy saying any of this. Now guys, while this show is one of the easier for me to find episodes to make videos on, a lot of shows simply are not. Sometimes these old shows just don't exist anywhere on the face of the earth anymore, but a lot of times, they're just region locked. That's even the case for a lot of newer shows that for one reason or another just aren't available in your region. And that's a bunch of baloney. But that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Surfshark. Being that you guys are watching a YouTube video right now, odds are you have heard of a VPN before. But Surfshark is more than just a VPN. Surfshark allows you not only to virtually travel the world, allowing you to bypass those pesky region locks, it also helps you to browse privately anywhere you are, block ads and malware, and so much more. Surfshark also offers other tools like their antivirus, alert system to let you know if your info has been involved in a data breach, private search engine, and so much more. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Chris, but do they utilize AES 256 GCM encryption, complying with the strictest security measures? I thought you'd never ask. Seriously, I didn't think you'd ask that. But since you did, yes, of course they do. Surfshark has industry-leading security. And of course, Surfshark is compatible with all operating systems and devices, from your computer to your phone, even TVs and consoles. Yeah, that's a lot of devices. So if that all sounds like something you're interested in, secure your privacy with Surfshark by entering coupon code ChrisJames for 4 months extra at surfshark.com/ChrisJames. I want to thank Surfshark for sponsoring the channel, and now back to the video.
The family owns 17 motorbikes, 2 cars, 2 4-wheelers, 4 trucks, and a sailboat. And because of the mess in the yard, Kenny's not popular with his neighbors.
Bottom line, I'm here to enjoy life. It's too damn short to worry about what other people think of me.
Yeah, he's right. Life is too damn short not to throw that screen door out the window into the front yard, and also run a part-time scrapyard out of said yard. Because I think we're reaching a little bit with the 17 motorized vehicle thing. I'm willing to bet half of them are resting peacefully on cinder blocks right now. So now we've met Kenny, the woman he hooked up with a year ago, her kid, and his kids. Now it's time to meet the man that he will be swapping lives with, Zev.
Zev Pace is a bongo-playing environmentalist who lives on a housing cooperative called Nomad with his wife, Neshama.
It's 50-50 if those bongos are going to play an unnecessarily heavy role in this episode, but I'm really leaning towards the fact that they will. And it had to have just been something that came up in conversation with Zev, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna roll with that. We need a thing for this episode, and it's gonna be that. You're bongo boy now.
Well, rituals are an important part, I think, of community life in general. Here, we make a point of marking the seasons, and that's beautiful.
So aside from them probably being surveyed by the ATF for no reason, I don't see much wrong with this family. Like, they may take things a little too seriously and extreme, but for the most part, they're just environmentalists. Probably why they're leaning more into the bongos. They need something.
Their daughters, Zipporah and Helona, aren't allowed to watch television and are encouraged to explore their imagination.
But they definitely are allowed to be exploited on television, being on the show. So things have a way of evening themselves out.
Neshama, formerly a Manhattan PR agent named Kay, likes an orderly home.
You'd think someone with experience being a PR agent would understand the risks of putting the image of your family in the hands of a TV network to manipulate as they please for the sake of our entertainment.
And to preserve Neshama's inner peace, she makes Zev, formerly Bill, do the housework.
Oh my god, his name isn't even Zev, it's fucking Bill. Zev just must be his commune name, I guess. It's just funny that he went from Bill to Zev. So Zev basically does all of the housework alongside his other laundry list of chores for the commune, and Neshama takes the most cliche-looking nap I've ever seen in my life.
Here is a feather for fun. Have fun.
And a stone for growth.
No. Oh, fuck. Don't have insurance.
Kenny hopes that in his absence, Sandy's daughter Kara might appreciate him more.
In that respect, I hope Kara realizes I'm not here to take her mother away from her. I'm taking her mother and her.
Well, that would sure put me at ease. Man, Kenny has a way with words, I tell you. I know there's gotta be at least 4 of you out there that might appreciate this reference, but is this not just Detective Crashmore, but 10 years younger?
What'd you say?
Each husband has left a manual as a guide to the running of their home.
Arguably the clearest case of the showrunners writing up the outline and rules on the husband's behalf, because there is no way that Kenny sat down, typed out this detailed outline booklet, then bound and laminated it. Zev? Maybe? Still not likely.
I also sneak a weekly bag of chocolate-covered peanuts. Sometimes Neshama finds the wrapper and catches me. She says it doesn't make her too mad since I help out so much around the house.
Okay, I feel bad for Zev and his depressing handful of chocolate-covered nuts. That's unfortunate. So now that the husbands have had some time to read over the rules for each other that they did absolutely not right, it's time for them to finally meet the families that they're going to be living with for the next couple of weeks.
And so we eat healthy, we recycle, we just do a lot of things like that. And the idea is to just let people know that it's possible and it doesn't need to be hard.
Okay, it's not that crazy. She's acting like he's saying, yeah, we like to recycle and also eat people and children as well.
Give thanks to Mother Gaia. Give thanks to Father Son. Give thanks to all the sons and Father.
All is one, all is one, all is one.
I was not expecting this. First off, I show up here as a commune.
You know, for putting on this tough biker look, Kenny at least seems to be pretty courteous and keeps his shit talking to a low volume in the other room. What if he doesn't have a license at all, but they're just like, Zev, we just need to get this shot, can you just go down the road real quick, and then he just backs into 6 trash bins. So now it's time to flip their worlds upside down, because instead of riding a motorcycle, Kenny's gonna ride a bicycle, and instead of Zev riding a bicycle, he's gonna ride a motorcycle. I can't keep doing this. So we're about a third of the way into the episode, and I have to say, pretty tame as far as wife swap goes.
Kenny's finding out about being a good neighbor.
This is called co-housing. This is kind of neat what they're doing here with everybody coming together. But for me, it's not my cup of tea. It's not something for me that I would want to do. I could not live in a community like this. I enjoy my privacy.
I think it's one of the only episodes we've covered where there are obviously different people with different lifestyles here, but Kenny's just like, yeah, it's pretty cool what they got going on here. Not really for me, I guess. And that's that. And you know, off camera, they're just freaking out like, no, fuck. Go tip over his motorcycle.
Here's where we have our kitchen scraps. And we take and we put it in these buckets. And as you see,
Kenny gets down to business with the chores while Neshama takes a nap.
Man, they are really getting their money's worth out of that Sleeping Beauty shot of Neshama. Wait, hold on, does she always sleep at the foot of the bed like that? So now Kenny's gonna get some one-on-one time with the kids and get to know them a little better by coloring with them. By the way, Kenny's been great so far. It just seems like his household is kind of all over the place. Granted, he hasn't implemented his rules yet, so knock on wood.
You ever go on vacation?
No.
Never been on vacation? You ever watch television?
No.
You know who Yogi Bear is?
No.
And aside from what I'm assuming is them wanting to shoehorn the TV thing in, he's asking pretty normal questions like, have you ever been on vacation? Do you know who Yogi Bear is? That's it.
When you come in judging people and you read a manual and you think you know every single thing about us.
I do not.
Okay, so you read that manual and you think you know everything about us. Well, guess what? We didn't even write it. I don't even know what it says. Can I read it, please? So now tensions are starting to rise a little bit. It's about that time, checks out. But we're only just getting started, because now we gear up for week 2, where the husband and boyfriend of mom get to implement their rules.
Today, everything is about to change in the Davis and Pace households as the husbands take control.
I've been pushed around. I've been told what to do.
Okay, I want to know what Kenny wrote and or drew on that note card that made them cut away right before he showed us, like... Hey, check that out. Oh, god damn it, Kenny, come on, that's a dick and balls.
I've done everything I've been told to do. She shouldn't have a problem doing everything I'm going to ask, but we'll see what happens this evening.
I've been following her rules all week long, so let's see how well she follows mine.
Kenny, is that you?
Yes, I'll be right there. Let's see how she follows mine.
Hello, ladies.
Oh, you know it's time for Kenny to rule this house. He has his uniform on and everything. And at the other house, Zev has his own way of getting right into it.
Peace to you. Peace in your home.
As long as one is one, inside yourself or your father.
And from now on, no more TV.
That's just something we do, and for you to sit here and say, we can't do it.
Right,
Because-
for this next little period of time.
Kid, did anyone explain this fucking show to you?
Here is your non-organic outfit.
Okay, not to, actually, but if it's leather, can it technically be organic?
For the next week, you will be using bicycles.
I am not going to ride a bike to school. I think that's just stupid.
Look, man, I'll ride a fucking bike, okay? But I'm not gonna ride that shit to school, alright? I'm gonna get my ass kicked. This is 2004. You don't understand.
We should probably go to an amusement park. Let the girls do whatever they want, eat whatever they want till their heart's content.
Things like this are always what happen in the episode, where it's sort of an 80-20 split with productive rules and changes.
The compost bucket, that's gone. From now on, for the next week, food scraps go in the garbage disposal.
Because a lot of what Kenny's doing here isn't bad. He's just like, hey, let's get these kids out of the house and show them some fun stuff we can do out in the real world. Immediately undercut by, we're gonna throw everything in the garbage disposal. I don't care. Banana peels, napkins, metal forks. We're gonna put some mileage on this baby this week.
To help build community, you will also be going to your surrounding neighbors and apologize for this state of your yard. And then invite them to a party called We Have Cleaned Up Our Act Party.
And in the other house, Zev is like, we're gonna start biking to school, clean the basement, mow the lawn, and then invite all of your neighbors over and throw a, hey, sorry for being the worst people on the block, shame party. We're gonna throw a shame party.
As far as I'm concerned, you don't need the nap in the afternoon. So, no more naps.
No!
So what I've done is I've secured you a job outside of the house at a biker bar.
See, they can't just leave it at one change, like, hey, maybe you don't need an afternoon nap. Especially because you don't work, nor do any of the chores in the house. But they have to instead have him say, hey, no naps, also I got you a job at a biker bar. Is that good? Is that what you wanted? Neshama, I think it's time you started picking up some of the slack around here. So, no more naps, and starting tomorrow, I got you a job at a steel mill. And then she's just gone for the rest of the episode because now she works 70 hours a week.
Anything else?
Alright, props to the editor here. I don't know if that cut was intentional, but good fucking job. That was hilarious.
Over 500 pounds of pissed off female, bud. I don't think you know what you're doing.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. At least not this second, but it took me a solid 5 to 10 seconds of sitting here to realize she was talking about all four of them collectively here, because I was like, oh, no way she's 500 pounds. Oh. Now, of course, with Wife Swap, there's always one of the houses where the kids absolutely love the changes, and then there are those who are, in fact, not loving it, which, now that I think about it, maybe this might be a good opportunity for the kids to come together and bond over the trauma of having to recycle.
I will live with his rules, but I'm gonna make his life a living hell.
Week 1 was already supposed to be his living hell. He already lived it. Did no one explain the rules to any of these kids?
For the rest of the time. I guarantee it.
Okay, who the hell is she making a call to right now? Because she just made that threat about making his life a living hell, and then picked up that phone like she's putting a $7 million contract on John Wick's head.
Under Kenny's new rules, Neshama is having to prepare her first non-organic meal in more than 10 years.
We don't care.
Artificial dyes
we don't care.
And it's proving hard to let go.
You don't mind if we use some
I
sea
do.
salt, do you?
I do. We are here this week for flavor.
Here for flavor, says the man that just told her to throw away the salt, of all things. Now, while Kenny and the family he's with is going to sit down and watch TV and eat dinner as a family that way, when we come back to Zev and the family he's with, they're just going to eat dinner with no TV. And all things considered, them sitting down together as a family to enjoy this nice meal with no TV, it ends up being surprisingly pleasant.
This was why I got divorced.
Another Chris James lie. I think it's been a few months since I did last, but I can't keep track anymore. I just love it so much. And well, the next morning, things aren't much better because Sandy's daughter Kara doesn't want to go to school. Seemingly because of the biking to school thing. So Zev and Sandy get into a less than productive conversation about it.
Well, you said you would at least try to stand up with me.
On everything else, yes.
Before Sandy ends up just driving her to school while Zev watches out the window, like he's saying goodbye to his best gal before being shipped off to World War II.
But Samantha does agree to cycle to school.
That was terrible. I don't want to ever ride that bike again.
I really don't know what's so bad about riding a fucking bike. Like, as far as exercise goes, it's gotta be up there with one of the more pleasant forms of it.
Kenny has decreed there's to be no more naps for Neshama.
Okay, that is a pimp shirt. He may have stolen it right off the back of Dylan Sprouse from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but nonetheless, that is a sick shirt. You know, that should be a rule for any episode of a show I cover. I gotta spot at least one sick-ass shirt being worn. A rule I only follow when it is convenient for me. One I will attempt to follow because it is the thought that counts. But like last video on Undercover Boss, we had what seemed like a tie between CEO Kobe and, god damn it, Jimbo. But now though, it is time for Neshama to start off her job serving at this biker bar, and at first it's a bit rocky. She does better than any Undercover Boss would do on this show, but rough start nonetheless.
After a shaky start, she soon gets into the swing of things and has the time of her life.
They're basically like, yeah, she didn't start off great, but then she got wasted and ended up loving it. Yeah, of course, she's fucking hammered. Of course she's gonna start having a good time.
This whole thing started with a pair of leather pants, and it's gone downhill from there. She's a totally different woman.
One of the unexpected kind of things that came to me was this whole sensual side of being more like a babe.
At this point in the episode, we really start to see that this is going to be a clear case of one house doing much better than the other. Can you guess which one?
This was why I got divorced.
Just ignore the fact that Zev is going to come home to his wife, possibly having inherited a drinking problem, but let's just focus on everyone being happy. Now, while things got off to a rocky start at the other house with the rule changes,
Peace to you.
Once they start cleaning out the basement, things start to shape up a bit more.
You need deodorant so badly, it's not even funny.
Alright, well maybe not so. This seems to be one of those episodes where it's less of the spouse doing the swap that's the issue, but more so the family as a whole. Kenny has his ways, but for the most part, he's been pretty open-minded and pleasant. Granted, from what it sounds like back home, he's gone all the time. Because Zev is not asking too much right now, and is playing by the rules of the show, but the mom and daughters are not at all. I don't even think they know that they're on wife swap right now. So after this talk, Sandy and her daughters get mad and leave. Zev is pissed, so he does what you would imagine he would do when he's pissed.
Okay, yoga in 10 minutes, everyone. So this isn't as much fun as I thought it was gonna be. Not even a tiny bit.
You know, I was gonna say, has this man ever seen an episode of Wife Swap before? But then I remembered, this is season 1. There's a good chance none of them have seen this show yet, which is what makes these early episodes like this so beautiful and pure. It's probably the most genuine this show will ever get.
Having a stranger for a temporary dad makes Kara realize for the first time how much Kenny means to her.
I miss Kenny so much, it's crazy.
Well, me from 5 minutes ago may have been onto something here, because while uncomfortable to watch, and arguably 10 times more uncomfortable to be a part of, this experience is making them all closer, and Kara appreciates Kenny more as a father figure because of it.
He makes this, I guess, house a family. I miss him a lot.
He made this house a home. So far, it sounds like he wasn't ever really home in the first place. Because at the beginning of the episode, they really did hammer in. They're like, yeah, Kenny's coming and going all the time. So maybe let's start there. You know, we've seen much worse swaps before, with much worse situations, but I think this may be the most I've seen the kids just hate the fucking parent. Like, look at this shit.
It's so frustrating to basically try hard and be rebuked at every turn.
Because that had to have been staged. It was just too perfect.
When you say stuff like, this is going to be a family thing, we're all going to do it together like a family, I can just picture Kenny saying that and us being happy to do it. And that just makes me happy and it makes me excited. After this experience, there's no way that I could ever say, no, I don't love you. Or
there you go, Zev. There's your change. There's your change. We have become a family.
See, Zev, there's your change. We're becoming a real family now. Yeah, but the planet, I want to save the planet. I don't give a shit about your family.
You asked many times in the beginning if I could do one thing. This is the one thing that I would have done, was to make us all closer. And I didn't do it, you did. I honestly do thank you.
You know, at first I thought maybe those were happy tears, but now I don't think so. I think he just knows that they are never going to fucking recycle. Also, are they still gonna have that neighborhood shame party? It's getting dangerously close to the end of the episode with still no mention of it.
Kenny is taking Zipporah and Helona out of the housing co-op and into a world of fun and candy.
Alright, it looks like Kenny's worn that shirt more than once. Can we deduct points from a pimp shirt if it's their only shirt? Or maybe add some points. If you only wear one shirt, that's kind of bitchin' if you think about it. So now that we're checking back in with Kenny and Neshama, they end up taking the kids to an amusement park. They have a great time, they come back home, play outside a bit, have an awesome time. You know what, this might honestly be one of the best swaps we've seen yet, covering this show on the channel. And I know it's easy to clickbait these things saying it's the worst or most uncomfortable episode yet. I'm running out of those, by the way. I think you guys can tell. But I think it's important. I think we need this kind of thing every now and then. For my own sanity. For your own sanity. Graham's sanity editing this. Right, Graham?
Yeah, this episode's actually pretty refreshing. Usually they're just screaming at each other and cutting each other off.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more.
I've only got about one more day here.
Hi.
I've got to go home to my family.
No.
Yeah.
That would be a few more days.
No, sweetie, just one more day.
Now, while it's not unusual for the younger kids to grow an attachment for the new spouse, all of the kids and Neshama seem to genuinely like Kenny, even if he made them throw away their banana peels. Now, I'm not trying to set up another Chris James lie. Wish I was, believe you me, but things back at the other house start to actually look up when they start cleaning out the front yard.
At last, the girls cooperate.
Feeling closer to the girls, Kenny's girls. I'm actually even feeling closer to my daughter. That's possible. And I think the girls are actually coming together too, in a good way.
They end up having a good time. I think it was honestly a turning point when Sandy was like, Zev, I don't like you as a person, nor do I agree with anything you stand for as a human being. but you've helped this family grow closer, and for that, thank you.
Peace to you.
According to Zev's next rule, the girls must now invite all the neighbors.
It'd be really nice if you came over, you know.
Okay, we'll try and make it.
Oh, wow, cool. ABC, you said? Awesome, awesome. Hey, honey, we're gonna be on TV. Yeah, the gross ones down the street with the screen in their yard. Yeah, them.
With more than 50 people at the party, it's a huge success. For the first time, they get to know the neighbors.
What if they finally get the neighbors over, everyone's having a good time, they get to see the effort that they finally put into their yard, and then Zev goes and fucks it up by being super off-putting and, like, scolding the neighbors for throwing away plastic cups and shit. They're just like, who the fuck is this guy? I thought you were married to that biker dude. Actually, we just hooked up a year ago, and he's living with another family right now, currently having the time of his life. But the party ends up being a success. Not quite the shame fest that I was predicting, but this is the good episode, so we can't be having any of that. And when we cut back to Kenny and Neshama, they end up going for a ride on Kenny's motorcycle, and man, Neshama must be the most transformed person we've seen on this show yet. She may have started off kind of rocky with her being salty about the no-nap thing, but man, those drinks at the bar really helped.
This whole thing started with a pair of leather pants.
And now we are finally at the part of the show where the spouses are reunited as they all sit down together and discuss their experience throughout all of this. Usually the nastiest part of the show. Cannot see it going that way this episode, but this is Wife Swap, so you never know. Man, what's Zev gonna think when he sees Neshama pulling up on the back of Kenny's bike like that? I feel like Kenny's gonna give Zev a little bit too hard of a slap on the back and say, hey, thanks for letting me borrow her for the last couple of weeks. Just totally emasculate him.
It's judgment time as the couples come face to face across the table for the first time.
I wish Neshama would have kept her leather shit on for this sit down, so we just get the image of 3 bikers and Zev.
The moment she put on that little leather outfit, all hell broke loose.
We're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
So Kenny recounts his experience, which again, probably the best on Wife Swap I've seen in general. I wouldn't know, I've only seen 7 episodes.
But I will say, Neshama and I kind of came together. We understood each other, and we both found out that we were both strong-willed people. It was awesome. I had an excellent time.
Then we get to Sandy, and, well, as you can imagine, it didn't start off the best.
We just felt like we were being judged from the moment you walked into the house. Oh my God, look at the way they live. How can they live this way? It's not my way, so it can't be right.
While I was there doing my thing, they really bonded together as a family.
You know, I was there at the beginning, following all the rules. You know, the ones set by the show that we all signed contracts agreeing to follow. Well, they all really came together to break all those rules and really formed a bond doing so that I will be talking to legal about after this.
I saw Kara stick up for you like I don't think she ever has before.
In the last few weeks, she has come to realize that you are the best thing that ever happened to her and to me. You're one of the best things in our lives, and we're damn lucky to have you there.
I think Kenny probably came out the most on top of anyone we've ever seen on this show ever. He had a great time with his new family, didn't have to learn a single lesson, and then came back to his family that now loves him and appreciates him 10 times more than they did before. He's just like, damn, shit, okay, cool. This is sick, I love this show. But now that that's done, they get to reunite with the rest of their families. Everyone's happy to see their dad again, and Kara is happy to see her new dad. So now that that's done, let's see how things are going in the weeks following the show.
Well, the first time Neshama put on the leathers for me, I thought this is a really good change.
Yeah, I love the leather. You know, when you first put that on, I think, man, that's really something. And now I've got my own leather. But unfortunately, circling back to Kenny's family, not so good.
Since the swap, Kenny has been more of a father figure to me. Before he was more like, yeah, he's my mom's boyfriend, and now I love hanging out with him as like a family.
Kara and I are considerably closer together. I just consider her one of my girls.
Okay, fuck, sorry, fine, just one last Chris James lie for the video. I had to do it, but you've got to admit, at least it was a pleasant subversion of your expectations. Come on.
This whole experience has made me realize how good I have it. You're all right.
You're all right yourself.
Thanks.
Guys, holy shit. Can't believe I'm saying this, but probably the best episode of Wife Swap. I might even title it that way to subvert people's expectations and get clicks anyways, and if I don't title that, I never said this. You're crazy. But guys, I hope you did enjoy watching this episode of Wife Swap Husband Edition. As always, if you did enjoy, don't forget to like down below, comment, share with your friends, subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more videos just like this. Also, don't forget to check out my merch in the shop tab on the channel or at chrisjames.shop. Thank you again to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.